Hi and welcome to Rebekah. So I had big plans this week for kind of kicking off and doing a check-in and wrapping up the DoTheThingAthon, but things went very unexpectedly, so I haven't really done any of that. And so I did do the thing, I just didn't tell you I was doing the thing or what exactly I was doing. So that readathon is ending today, so I'm gonna just wrap it up here. And then we'll talk about what kind of went unexpectedly at the end in my weekend update. So DoTheThingAthon is just kind of a get your shit done readathon. It was very flexible. They put up a couple prompts, but it was all about kind of making your own prompts if you needed them and setting your own challenges. So their prompts were first, reading outside your genre. I have so many things going on in terms of what I'm reading and what genres they're in that I either hit this or it's just not relevant to me because I don't have a particular genre. I read so many genres, so we'll consider that accounted for. The next one was read at least an hour a day. I am quite sure I hit this, no issues. I didn't specifically time myself, but I'm very sure. Pages per day, 50 was the third prompt. So I tend to lean always toward spirit of the law and not letter of the law and being kind to yourself. So I did not specifically track pages. I just kind of am pretty self-aware of how much I'm doing. So I think I did hit 50 per day as an actual pages per day count. But I more interpreted this as there were 7 days in the challenge and 50 pages per day equals 350 pages. So that was really my goal. And I much more than hit that. That was not a problem. So my actual page counts here. So with my first book, I almost completed that 350 pages. So I read Network Effect. I started and finished it at 348 pages. I audiobooked quite a bit. I was in my car a lot more than normal this week. So I read about 219 pages in Lirael, and I started and finished The Membranes at 108 pages. I read 60 pages of Rafe the Buff Male Nanny, and 18 pages of Relentless Moon, 194 pages of Komi Can't Communicate, which is a manga, so it reads pretty quickly. And then I read 28 pages of Dress Codes, How the Laws of Fashion Changed History. And that totals out to 975 pages. So I think I hit the goal. I don't think I have to worry about that too much. The next prompt was a continuing series. So I did have that, and it was part of my own personal challenges as well. So I actually worked at, like I said, Network Effect. I started and finished, and The Relentless Moon I started. So those are both continuing series. And I guess Lirael actually would also count as that too. So we'll put that in there as well. That's kind of a companion novel in the Abhorsen series. The final prompt was to actually read the oldest book on your TBR, and that's just not something I particularly care about. So I did not worry about that. As far as my own personal guides for what I wanted to do in this challenge, so I obviously mentioned a bunch of books. So Lirael was on my 2020 TBR to get to. I didn't get to it, so it's on my 2021 TBR. So this was a priority to get through because getting my shit done. These two, as we said, they're sequels that I've wanted to get to. I have both of these actually on my 5-star TBR. So both of them are ones that were high priorities to get to. They're both 2021 TBR and both 5-star TBR. I'm feeling pretty happy actually after the 3 that I just mentioned. I've knocked down my 2020 TBR to 35. So I'm down from 40 to 35 for the year so far. And then I also had on my Kindle The Membranes I mentioned. That one is a NetGalley arc that I need to have done by the first week of June. So it's coming up in a few days here. I need to get out a review of it. So that was a very high priority. So I think getting significant work done. I was not particularly planning to finish a whole bunch. I just wanted to make progress on a lot of stuff. And I did. I think I still have a ton in progress, and we'll talk through that in a minute here. And I read off 7 things that I worked on this week, and I still have Women Talking by Miriam Toews as well is my booktube spin pick, and I want to get to that tomorrow. I actually have tomorrow off of work. It's a holiday in the US, so I will get, I think, quite a bit more done. So as far as my reading, I think I did really well with this challenge. I leaned very much into just picking up new things if I wanted to and what was exciting to me. If you saw my library book haul, I will link it somewhere here. Like, I had a lot of stuff ongoing, and it was just kind of hanging out on my currently reading. So I really did start a whole lot of new stuff this week, and it got me really excited. So I think June is probably going to continue on with that. I'm going to try to finish up what I've got in progress, and use that holiday tomorrow to get to some of that. But I think June is going to be a very short TBR, and then a lot of mood reading and just picking up whatever I'm excited about, because that really helped me get through this week. It was a tough week. So that is, I think, really it for the Readathon. So that's what I did for DoTheThingAthon. I think I was pretty successful. I'm really happy with this Readathon. So as far as my reading this week, so let's start out with Lirael just quickly. So Lirael, high fantasy. This is the second book in a series. We kind of follow Lirael, who is meant to get some powers and doesn't, and so she goes to work in a magical library. I'm really enjoying this. Part 1 is all following Lirael, and then part 2, which I just finished, I think, is following Prince Sameth, and he kind of has a connection to the first book. I was not really invested in him at all, so I was just wanting to go back to Lirael, and now we have gone back to Lirael. But right before we went back to Lirael, I finally was invested in him. So I'm hoping that in part 3 is gonna tie together. So really enjoying that one. The Relentless Moon, I just started, so I don't really know anything. Network Effect, I started and finished. So this was on my 5-star TBR, so I am gonna rate it 5 stars, surprise. So my first one off of that list, actually, and it was a 5-star. So this book is yet another book following Murderbot. It takes place after the last novella, and this ends with some definite implications for the future, but I think the next novella, number 6, is a prequel, so I don't think we're gonna find out what the actual outcomes of that are. It's not a cliffhanger or anything, but just is leading the way. As far as what is actually going on here, I would say Murderbot is sent on a mission to protect a high-value asset, somebody important, and things go incredibly wrong very quickly. And there's a lot of action. I think maybe that's my one criticism of this, is that there's too much action compared to previous books. But the main challenge in this one is Murderbot having to face complex emotions. That's what this book is all about. So I really loved it. I thought it was great. Love Murderbot. And actually, we had a short story previously, A Home, that gave us one POV other than Murderbot's, and that was Dr. Mensa. So this one actually has a couple of chapters that are from other perspectives. So that was very interesting. So on my Kindle, I had mentioned The Membranes, which was my NetGalley arc. It is a translated work by a Taiwanese author published in Chinese in 1995 that has just been translated, and that is by Ta-Wei, and the translator is Larissa Heinrich. I got that from a university press, so keep an eye out on your university presses because they really are doing great work. I highly recommend following a couple of them. I follow, I think, University of Minnesota and University of Illinois has put out some great sci-fi nonfiction, basically, that are like biographies, and I reviewed the bio of Joanna Russ. That was absolutely fantastic. So this one is a sci-fi. It's a future dystopia where the ozone layer has depleted and the surface of the earth is no longer livable, so all people have moved underwater, basically. And we follow this character, Momo, who is a dermal technician. So people's skin is extremely susceptible to damage because of the sun. Previously, when they were living above water, and they kind of got into these routines of having their skin very taken care of. And so underwater now, they have problems with the harsh salt water on them and have these membranes that dermal technicians have to take care of. So this was a very weird and very cool book. I really enjoyed it. The only thing I've ever read that was even remotely similar is The Rapture of the Nerds, which if you've read is real trippy and weird. This one, not quite as trippy, but very strange. It starts with Momo very young, and we get Momo's perspective very young. And so we get these kind of uncomfortable situations where Momo is going through self-discovery and figuring out gender. There is a gender reassignment that is not necessarily forced, but it occurs without Momo really being involved in the decision. So to me, that's non-consensual because obviously Momo was not asked. So Momo is also pretty clearly aromantic, but not asexual, and it's not clear whether she is lesbian or bi. And so we go from this child perspective as she's kind of figuring out her sexuality, and then we also have these adult kind of mundane scenes almost, where she's just acting as a dermal technician. But behind all of this is her relationship with her mother, who is a high up corporate executive for the company Mega Hard. It's a competitor of Microsoft somehow, even though they basically sell like ebooks almost. They're disc books. So can you imagine in 1995 having that idea? That's incredible. So she's just running her dermal business, and she is dealing with an estranged relationship with her mother, who kind of made those medical decisions for her and was very absent in her life when she was young. So she was kind of this sick, lonely kid. And then near the end, there is a pretty major shift in what's going on, and it totally blew me out of the water. I was not expecting it at all. So I really enjoyed it, and I will be writing up a full review for that one pretty soon. And then the last one on my ebooks to talk about really is Rafe, the Buff Mill Nanny, and it really surprised me how much I'm enjoying it. I've read 60 pages into it in pretty much one go, and really like the writing. I love the characters. It's just an adult, responsible relationship. I think I am enjoying the way that their kind of steamy lines are peppered throughout, where like they're thinking about the other person, but they're not really acting on it because they're in this responsible relationship where Rafe is going to be a nanny for a single mother who is also a surgeon, and they both want to keep their professional distance. So they're having these thoughts with saying, we're going to be responsible, and I really like that. Like that, you don't see that very often in these kind of books. They just kind of dive in and insta love or insta hook up or whatever, and I think this is much more reasonable and realistic, and that is my sort of thing. So really liking that one. Dress codes, also on my Kindle, I didn't really get far enough into to say very much. So I'm really liking it. It's super dense, but I am enjoying the content so much. I just keep highlighting stuff that I want to get back to. So that one, I think I'm gonna have to turn off my Kindle actually, because I'm gonna run out of time before I finish it. But I really am looking forward to getting into that one, and may pick it up a little bit more tomorrow. Then So I still have Women Talking, that's my booktube spin pick, and I haven't made any more progress today, but I'm going to try and finish it tomorrow over the holidays. So I think that's where I'm at reading-wise. I will probably get a little bit more audiobooking done, but not very much more reading through the rest of the day. That's why I wanted to wrap up right now. I'm about to go eat lunch and watch the Stitch and Bitch live show, which I think is over on Rhea's channel, The Book Bench, today. And after that, I did get my exciting new IKEA bookshelves last night, and so I've got to put those together, so I will audiobook while I'm doing that. That'll probably take me an hour or two, so I will get some stuff listened to during that. And then after that, I've got to upload this, so by then it'll be evening, so I won't get too much more done tonight before the challenge is over. So that's, I think, everything reading-wise, I'm pretty sure. I didn't really get very many videos done that I had wanted to. This week I feel like everybody's putting up their June TBRs early. Like last month I was early and everybody else was like a week late. And this month everybody else has got theirs already out, and I'm gonna be a week late probably, but I'm not worried about it. Like, it's not something I'm stressing over at all. I kind of have an idea of what I'm gonna read, and if I tell you guys late, that's not a big deal. And I do really want to prioritize getting out. I have been working on a Pride recommendations list, so I want to get that out for sure early this month, because obviously getting that out earlier is a little more of a priority, so people know ideas to pick up for the month if they're looking for Pride recs. So I do want to do that. So I think that is everything that I have to talk about that's bookish. So if you're just here for the bookish stuff, thank you so much for watching. As far as what went on this week in my personal life, so the weekend update portion here is really that I posted a video yesterday so you could kind of see my cat and dog buddies. So you would get a chance to see Coco and see what a sweet boy he is and see who I'm talking about. So Coco, my foster cat, came to me in November, and he is a senior guy who they kind of have trouble getting over losing a long-term, lifelong home and owner. And so we got over that in around December. But then in January, I found out he had stage 3 renal disease, which is organ failure, basically, of kidneys. And so things had gone pretty bad at that point, and it was like really severe emergency type situation. But then we got him on prescription food and treatment plan, and he bounced back really well and has been doing really good since. But then he had Sunday, he was just not keeping any food down, and then kind of stopped eating for several days this past week. So I got him into the vet, and he is still in stage 3, but he's gone from basically the bottom end of stage 3 to the very top end of stage 3. So he's right on the border of stage 4. So not too much changes for now. It just was a really scary week where, when your pets are not eating, that's always pretty bad. So he now has an appetite inducer medication to take so that he will keep eating. They gave him some anti-nausea stuff while he was there. And he already gets, I do fluids for him, which is just kind of the drip bag like you see in the hospital, and you put the needle under their skin and let fluids go in there. And I do that already, so we've increased that. So I'm doing that every other day now. So it's a lot of supportive care for him, but I've known since January that this is going to be a hospice situation, basically, and he will be here till the end of his life, and it's looking like we're getting close to that. So so that was just a hard week, and like I said, I kind of leaned into just picking up books, whatever was grabbing my attention at the time because of that, because my attention was just not there. So I did a lot of that. I did a lot of watching Chopped. So I discovered there's 250 episodes of Chopped. So my late nights were, I was up till, very late and cleaning up puke and all that stuff. It was just watching Chopped. So I think that is most of what has gone on this week. My work was really stressful as well, so I was just feeling kind of beat after work every night and not really doing too much. But I did manage to get a ton read, so I'm really excited with this plan of going forward to just kind of mood read and grab whatever has me at the moment. So, like I said, I will try to get a queer Rex video out for the Pride Month, and then I'm going to try to get out a June TBR this week, and I think that's probably what you can expect coming up soon. So thanks all for watching today. Please like and subscribe.